All right, let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruchakodash. All right, welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Great Wrath on the Horizon. I'm joined with the Elder Arataza.
Shalom, shalom.
And pretty much this lesson is inspired by something that was sent to me on X. Pretty much, I believe that used to be Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yep.
And pretty much it's something that was decided in the Supreme Court. You know, as of September 8th, you brothers are probably already know about it. And pretty much that's why, just a couple of seconds ago, the Spirit gave me the title, Great Wrath on the Horizon. So what I did was I typed in on the horizon meaning, right, just to see what it said. It says on the horizon, just imminent or becoming apparent. Trouble could be on the horizon. And how convenient is that? Jacob's trouble. And the reason why is because everything is ramping up. Now, those of you that have your flashlights on, spiritual flashlights on, right. You could see that, when the Biden administration was in power, so to speak, they opened the borders to allow a lot of different immigrants in from different nations. And, the Latin tribes, of course, they took advantage of it. And they pretty much started coming through there too. But you had all different types of nations come. I don't even know how many different nations came through those borders. What they call it, Darien, was it the Darien Straits? I believe it was, but for some strange apparent reason, you had even Ishmaelites coming through there, so-called Arabs coming through those borders. Mm-hmm. But for some strange apparent reason, the so-called Latin tribes are the worst, threat to America, and their freedoms or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But not those other ones. Right. Back in 2001, it was the Ishmaelites. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, it's the Latin tribes. Mm-hmm. What the fuck did the Latin tribes ever do?
Exactly.
For you to label them that. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that the reason why you're doing that is because you understand, and and if you didn't know, you know now that the Latin tribes are part of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel.
That's right.
And the Lord is bringing the tribes back together, and this, Hebrew Israelite thing is getting more and more popular every day. So you're trying to minimize the amount of Israelites that come into this country from South America, Central America, Mexico, because you think that that's going to stop the prophecies. And it's not. You had something, bro?
Not yet.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right to the report. And if you want to tap in and start reading on the report.
Okay.
You got that?
Yeah, I got it.
Let me I'm pulling it up now. This was, I'm not sure when this particular one was dated, but the one below it was dated September 8th of this year. So, and it's a Supreme Court decision that was granted this year. So you can start reading it.
Yep. Yes, there's as you can see, it's a tweet, right, from X, formerly Twitter. And it says, the Supreme Court today gives Trump a license to engage in racial profiling with Justice
Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh,
Slovakia, writing in concurrence to expressly endorse ICE and Border Patrol targeting any Latinos they observe in Los Angeles speaking Spanish and then demanding their papers.
Right. And, the thing is that's pretty much racial profiling.
Right.
That's supposed to be against the law. Mm-hmm. But it's only against the law when it applies to any other nation. But when it applies to the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, it's not racial profiling.
Right.
Because we're the biggest threat to these devils. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you click on that, on the one on the left, it should open up. Boom. All right. And you could, unless you could see it up here.
Yeah.
But this is on a delay,
Yeah.
So that one, boom, there you go, and there it goes. We got it up here.
Okay.
If you want to read it from there.
All right. It says, I start from here.
You could start there. Yep.
Yeah. It says here, those circumstances include that there is an extremely high number and percentage of illegal immigrants in the Los Angeles area. Though that those individuals tend to gather in certain locations to seek daily work. That those individuals often work in certain kinds of jobs, such as day labor, landscaping, agriculture, and construction that do not require paperwork and are therefore especially attractive to illegal immigrants, and that many of those illegally in the Los Angeles area come from Mexico or Central America and do not speak much English. Right? Then here's the codes, whatever. And then it says listing a or any number of factors that contribute to reasonable suspicion of illegal presence. To be clear, apparent ethnicity alone cannot furnish reasonable suspicion under this court's case law regarding immigration stops.
Right, but they're going to do it anyway. Because it says, to be clear, apparent ethnicity alone cannot furnish reasonable suspicion. So why is it that they're stopping pretty much anyone? They can just stop anyone that's so-called Latino. If they hear them speaking Spanish, they can pull them over or whatever, or they can, harass them. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, however, it can be
now go to the next one.
Yep. It could be a relevant factor when. Relevant factor when.
You go. If you want to read it from up there.
Okay, there you go. Relevant factor when considered along with other salient factors. Right, and you get a code number or whatever. It says under this court's precedents, not to mention common sense, those circumstances taken together can constitute at least reasonable suspicion of illegal presence in the United States.
Go ahead.
It says importantly, reasonable suspicion means only that immigration officers may briefly stop the individual and inquire about immigration status. If the person is
wait a minute. It said they can stop the individual and inquire about immigration status, but I thought there was no racial to be clear.
Right.
Matter of fact, bear with me 1 second. It says, to be clear, apparent ethnicity alone cannot furnish reasonable suspicion. But here it's saying that under this court's precedents, not to mention common sense, those circumstances taken together can constitute at least reasonable suspicion of illegal presence in the United States. Right. Importantly, reasonable suspicion means only that immigration officers may briefly stop the individual and inquire about immigration status. Yeah, but why?
Yeah. Right.
Because of the way they look, the way they speak. So is that not racial profiling?
Yeah, that's racial profiling.
Yeah,
that's right.
So go ahead.
Yep. It says if the person, I believe that's where I left off at, right?
If the person.
Yep. If the person is a U.S. citizen or otherwise lawfully in the United States, that individual will be free to go after the brief encounter.
And we know that's bullshit because when they pull these jakes over and they tell them, look, I'm an American citizen, they still lock them up anyway.
Yeah.
So it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And how is it that the so-called Mexicans or so-called Central American, so-called South Americans, they're the biggest threat. They're the ones that you're so worried about. Not the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, not the Pakistani or the East Indians or the Hamites that's coming here or the other nations that's coming here. Only them. Why is that?
They came in droves down in Eagles Land in Texas. They was crossing that border in droves.
And we're joined by the Elder Tazawam, the show hopper. he was just downstairs doing a lesson with the Elder Kanak. You got it.
Yeah, back prior to Trump's presidency, down on the Eagles Land in Texas, on that border down there were thousands upon thousands of illegal immigrants from all over the world, not just Hispanic countries.
Right.
You know, or Honduras or Mexico. There were people coming from China. There were people coming from Senegal. You know, so why you know, why are these people not being profiled?
Right.
You know, it said Spanish speaking.
Right.
That's it.
It didn't say Senegalese speaking.
Right.
It didn't say Mandarin speaking.
Right. Arab speaking.
Arab speaking. It said it's specific. So it specified the targeting of Hispanics.
Yeah. And that's
wicked.
Yep. That's basically Esau basically wants to paint Jake as the violent individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course you got black, so-called blacks and Hispanics. Of course, Israelites. He wants to paint us as the face of evil, the face of violence in America. But really, he's really the violent one.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know.
And the reason why they're doing that is because, as we're going to read here in Jeremiah 30:7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the time of Esau's trouble, even though it is going to be, come upon them.
Yeah.
But it's the time of Jacob's trouble. It's not the time of Ham's trouble. It's not the time of Ishmael's trouble. It's not the time of Elam's trouble. It's the time of Jacob's trouble.
Yeah.
Although any of those nations that are here in America, they're going to catch hell, but the main focus are the Israelites, because through prophecy, we know that these devils know that the Israelites are starting to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to Ezekiel 37.
Oh, yeah. I got one too.
All right, hold on. Let me grab this, and then where you at?
Daniel 8.
Okay. Daniel 8:25. Now you got to qualify that.
Oh, yeah. That's spirit.
All right.
I was going to do that.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Daniel 8:25. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Now, when you go into Daniel the 8th chapter, it's speaking about the rough he-goat and the little horn. And when you break that down, that's dealing with Antiochus.
Antiochus is who? Which one?
Epiphanies.
That's
when you go into the history, what's that first Maccabees?
Mm-hmm.
That the craft that he conspired was to make the Israelites leave from under the covenant and follow the covenant of the king.
Yep.
So that was the craft, but applying that into modern times, that's what they're doing now through the policies.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Elder Rotterdam and Apostle Rama was just had up on the screen reading that policy. That pen is giving them the authority to come down on Jake, because it's encoded in their society.
And that's what gives Esau the power, the teeth, is the legislative body. And that's why Meyer Amschel said, give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws. Because as you can see now, these politicians, senators, governors, whatever, or people in the Senate House that are hammering out these policies are hammering out the policies for the big corporations.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's benefiting the big corporations more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. So I look up the word policy is the word shakal, and the word there is prudence, insight, understanding. Prudence, good sense, insight, understanding, cunning, craft in a bad sense. And it's a craft in a bad sense because they're crafting these bills to turn them into laws, to use them against the average citizen, but mainly the Israelites.
Yep.
Because it's the time of Jacob's trouble. And like the elder said, this was dealing with Antiochus Epiphanes, but now we can apply it to Esau, and the laws and the legislation that he's pushing. That's why it spoke about it was a lamb with two horns.
Yep.
It appeared to be innocent, but really it said it spoke like a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So a lamb doesn't speak like a dragon. That's a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
A dragon is known for its keenness, but it's also known for its fierceness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go back into the actual word dragon from the Greek word drakon, and you had, an Athenian lawgiver, I believe that was in the 8th century BC, if I'm not mistaken, known as Draco. And Draco was known for his extreme punishment for breaking even the least law. Minor crimes. You broke a big crime, you got punished. You broke a little crime, you got punished the same exact way. So it was like a capital offense whether you broke a little law or a big law.
Yep.
You know, and that's what's happening here. You know, so that's why through their legislation, they're able to do the things that they're doing. They just want it in the books.
Yep.
Then they could use it however they want. That's why when they write these bills and pass them into law, they're always so open-ended.
Yep.
Because they're open to interpretation, and they interpret it as they deem necessary.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, because every situation doesn't merit the same, you know, the same thing.
Consequence, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what Haman fighting so hard to get that seal, you know, that approval from the king.
Yeah,
he needed it to be written
Yeah.
down to justify slaughtering Jake. So they always have, you know, used this formula of putting things into law to justify, okay, their evil intentions towards Israel.
The 1% have ill intent. Let's go. I'm gonna get that real quick. First Maccabee 1:41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote. See, that's a law. So when you write something, he wrote a letter. That letter became law underneath the authority of King Antiochus IV, Epiphanes. So it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom. So this is something that was to be observed throughout every part of the Greek Empire, right?
What's the scripture say of the Ecclesiastes, where wherever king is, there's power.
You can bring it up.
Yeah,
Bring it out, bro.
I think it's 8.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes.
So it says that all should be one people. So the New World Order, the one world government, the one world people is nothing new. It's something that has been tried by many different kings, many different empires, to no avail. And we're here in modern day in 2025, and they've been plotting this going back to 1776. Before that, going back to I believe that was 1532 under the Alumbrados, which was Ignatius de Loyola, you know, who his name was Inigo Lopez. That was the one that started the Jesuit, the Society for Jesus, or the Jesuits. You know, so even from back then, they were trying to get this off the ground. And it's no coincidence that happened in the heart of the Renaissance period, in the heart of the great deception of the world, you know? So it says, and everyone should leave his laws. So in other words, you have the freedom of religion here in America, even though, you know, this is going back into ancient Greece or Greece. But here in America, you have the freedom of religion, so-called, right? But now he's saying you got to leave all of that, leave all your laws, right? So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. It says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, which shows you that his religion was predicated upon the legislation and the letter, which became legislation, that he wrote. And that's what Esau's doing right now. Through their legislation, they're pushing forth their religion, their worship.
And even when you go back to ancient Greece, the Hellenization was directly targeted to the Israelites. But you also had Hamites that was amalgamated into Greece. You had Moabites that was amalgamated into Greece. But notice that in all of these different kingdoms, the direct attack is towards Israel. You will always see why they come down on Jerusalem. They come down on Jerusalem. They came down on Jerusalem. So it's happening now, like brothers was reading the article. It's happening now in real time. They coming down on Jerusalem.
Oh, we're gonna come back to that.
Oh yeah.
Right? It says, and sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath, and that's pretty much what they want. You know, pretty much is Esau has that God complex. They want to be like the Most High. And they're going to establish a world where they are in total control of everything, like the Most High is in control of everything. You know? So going back to what we were reading in Daniel 8:25, the word for policy is craft. All right. I was trying to see if there was anything else. So intelligence means to tell in. Discretion, knowledge, policy. Now let's look up this word policy real quick. All right. Policy is our laws that are to govern the polis or the public. All right. Policy. Let's see. Paste. Policy meaning. Policy, a course of principle or action adopted or proposed by a government, party, business, or individual. Okay, so these are the principles. What are the principles? The legislative body that Esau has put out there. That's why it speaks about, was it Isaiah 10?
Yeah.
You got that? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So I mean, if y'all got, matter of fact, let's finish up in Daniel 8, then we could get the next one, and then you got that one, right?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, so let's finish up Daniel 8, and like I said, and we just gonna say it again because in case anybody just tuned in, Daniel 8:25 has nothing to do with today. It has something to do with Antiochus Epiphanes. Daniel the 8th chapter has already been fulfilled. We're just using it to make a point as that this is what they're doing today.
Yeah, they're adopting those same
principles.
Yep. Same old formula. Yeah.
Mhm.
You want me to finish?
Yes, sir.
So Daniel 8:25, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
Right,
Ooh.
the two horns like a lamb,
Yep.
spake as a dragon.
It says he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
Right, and that's Yahushua. He came against Yahushua on his way pretty much to Israel to say, I'm gonna, when I get to these Jews, I'm gonna tear them, I'm gonna tear them a new asshole.
Yep.
And then the Lord Yahushua, the angels smote him with an incurable disease.
Yep.
And fucked his whole shit up.
Yeah, because he got pride.
Yeah, I mean they fucked him up so bad that his men couldn't stand the smell, and he couldn't even stand the smell.
Yeah, it's like he had like a flesh eating disease. Or something.
That shit, the shit was coming. It was inverting.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Maggots was eating his ass up. I mean, the smell of rotten flesh, and fucking fermented dung.
Whew. Yeah, he was jacked up.
Dude. So where you at about this?
Yep, this is it's Ecclesiastes 8.
All right.
Yep, Ecclesiastes 8 and 4.
Okay. Yep.
And it says, where the word of a king is, there is power. And who may say unto him, what doest thou?
Right.
Yeah. So the word of a king is there's power. Whatever the king says, it goes. And basically nobody can really question the king. Why he doing this? Why he signed that in the law? Hey, so the king gets the approval, whatever he says goes. That's it. People's basically made to be subject to his word, man.
Mm-hmm.
And really you can apply that to Yahweh Shem Yahushua too. His word, of course the scriptures, you can apply it that way as well. It's his power. You can't question the Most High's word either.
That's right.
But on just on the earth, dealing with a physical king that's over a nation, like I was gonna get example, with Haman was trying to get the certain laws passed so he can persecute Jake back then. You got example with back then in Greece, it was the same thing. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just trying to check this out real quick.
I know you good.
Yeah, I got one in the meantime.
Yeah, you got it.
Isaiah 10 and 1. I'm gonna read it from the GNT.
Okay, Isaiah 10 and 1. Let me grab that. I don't think it's that's not in
Well, yeah, I did have it in GNT, but I can get it in.
No.
Okay.
Bring it out. I got the GNT. No, but go ahead, you got it.
Okay, this is Isaiah 10 and 1. It says, "You are doomed. You make unjust laws that oppress my people." And when you're coming from an impoverished country seeking, some type of financial freedom, and you get to a land that your forefathers had already had, and now you're being profiled and you're being sent back, and separated from your families. That's oppression, man.
Oh yeah.
Esau has no heart.
No compassion.
He's not moved with generosity, man. He has extreme character flaws.
Mm-hmm.
To the point to where the world is sick of you devils.
Yeah.
Where's the thinking pattern of, man, these people have children, so let me not separate you. They will literally take a 3-year-old away from a parent and separate them for the rest of their lives and traumatize these people.
The tender mercies of the wicked are cruel, but
the tender mercies of the wicked is cruel, man. So that's why the Heavenly Father is going to bring the type of judgment that He's going to bring for you. Okay? Because you are very oppressive. And then, reading these different legislations and laws that's being passed is very grievous, man.
Oh yeah. Right, and then in the NLT it says, "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws."
Mm-hmm.
You know. NIV: "Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees."
Yep.
You know, and that goes hand in hand. Matter of fact, get Psalms. What is that? 94:20.
That's like that.
Okay.
Spirit.
Let me grab that real quick, and we're gonna see what it says in the different translations too. But let's read it in the KJV first.
Yep. This is reading that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is Psalms chapter 94, in verse 20. "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?"
Mm-hmm. And Tyler, can you get that one in the Apocrypha? Wisdom of Solomon, the one. Do you desire thrones?
Oh yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 6.
Okay. All right. So read that again, bro.
Yep. This is Psalms 94 and 20. "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?"
Right, and that's what you do. You frame mischief by a law. So, will you be able to continue to rule? And the answer to that is no, because the NLT says, "Can unjust leaders claim that the Most High is on their side? Leaders whose decrees permit injustice." And that's what you're doing. You're permitting injustice. At the same time, claiming that you are a Christian Judeo and you value the principles of the scriptures, and you believe in the Most High, but everything that you do is contrary to the Most High. That's why the Lord said, unto the wicked, the Most High saith, "What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenants in your mouth, seeing I hate his instructions and casteth my words behind thee?" Because if you were to set up America under the just laws of the Most High, you would just let the laws of the Lord, deal. Because everything is in there. Everything you need is in there. So why would you want to take away or add anything to it? But then at the same time claim that you are following the laws of the Lord. Right. That's a hypocrite. That's why it says, I believe further down Isaiah 10, I will send them against a hypocritical nation.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Short one, throw in there, quick one.
NIV: "Can a corrupt throne be allied with you? A throne that brings on misery by its decrees." That's an NIV. Where you at, bro?
I'm in Book of Sirach, Ecclesiastes.
Okay. Like that, huh?
Yeah. Sirach 10 and 8.
Just bear with me 1 second. Sirach 10 and okay, yeah, beautiful. That's a good one.
Yep. All right, so this is Sirach 10 and 8. It says, "Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches."
Matter of fact,
yep.
Salakia. Yep. Jump up to the third verse. Read the third verse, then jump down.
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, read 3, 4, and then jump down.
Okay, come on. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is Sirach, Ecclesiastes 10 and 3. It says, "An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited."
Right, and if you're going to establish your empire upon the principles of the Most High, you should follow all the way through. But you can't, because you're the wicked.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep. Verse 4.
So it says, "An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited." Right, because they're going to govern it correctly. You want to say something?
No.
No, they're going to govern it correctly. They're not going to govern it, to where they're benefiting, but then the rest of the people that are supposed to be subject unto them are suffering. Because it says when the wicked are in authority, right?
Yeah, I was thinking of that scripture.
The people mourn. But when the righteous beareth rule, the people rejoice. So obviously, if you look at the state of the world today, the state of the world is in sorrow. So if the state of the world is in sorrow, and we read in the scriptures that when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn, like the elder put it up, who's ruling?
Exactly.
The wicked.
Exactly.
And if you're being honest with you, who runs the policies of the world? The so-called white man, which are the wicked. And when the scriptures identify the wicked, it identifies many different people as being wicked, but it identifies a particular nation as being a nation of the wicked. And that's the Edomites. So if the people are mourning, that means the wicked are in authority. If the so-called white man is ruling, that means that they are the wicked.
Yep.
And then the scriptures say that the Edomites are the wicked. So that means that the so-called white man has to be the
It
wicked.
has to be the wicked. And it's
That-
and it's simple. Like we was going to at camp one time a couple weeks back, made the analogy of like a somebody like a fan of a sports team. You know, we bring that analogy out a lot. You know, people could see how, all right, this team needs to get a new a GM or a new coach, but they see something is wrong. But when it comes to the earth, people are just oblivious. Nah, man, it can't be the white man. It can't be this. You know, like how can you not see it? It's plain.
Yeah, and they see it. They just denial.
Yeah.
Denial. Yeah.
And they're blinded too.
They're blinded. Yeah, they're blinded.
Remember, as the Lord say, you'll send them strong delusion that they shall believe a lie.
Yep.
You know, it's because the Lord don't want the majority of Jakes to get this.
That's right. And the scriptures call them the mystery of iniquity as well.
Prayer of Azariah 1:9. And thou didst deliver us into the hands of lawless enemies, most hateful, forsakers of the Most High, and to an unjust king, and the most wicked in all the world. You know, but now that applies today to Esau.
Yep.
Because Esau is the most wicked.
Yes.
You know, there was another precept that came to mind. Oh, Habakkuk 1.
Okay.
But you got it, bro.
All right, keep reading.
Yep.
This is Sirach 10 and verse 4. It says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Right, because Yahushua is coming to take the throne. Because we're waiting for the promises of the Most High to bring about a righteous kingdom.
Seeking new heaven and new earth,
Yep.
will of righteousness.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, like we were walking earlier, talking about how, you know, peaceful it is when you're walking, and you can hear that, you know, when you don't hear any sounds of the cars or whatever, you hear the sounds of the forest, you know, you hear the birds. It's like, you know, you could actually, that's music. And it's a healing music. You know, but Esau has, you know, the majority of people in these cities to where these cities are toxic.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw a video where a guy was like bird watching, and he was recording their chirping. And when he slowed down the tone, you could actually hear that the birds were actually saying positive things. Like it was like it sounded like they were speaking English, like chopped English, but it was all like positive affirmations. Like what they were saying, they was just chirping out good energy, good vibration.
There you go.
So like you said, it is healing. It has its purposes, you know, healing purposes to it. But Esau drowns you out with noise pollution.
Right. Yeah. Because, you know, it's just like you have different fabric clothing.
Yeah.
You might have a good fabric like wool, but if you mix it with anything, it's gonna kill off the positive energy that you will get from it.
It cancels out the vibration.
Right. And that's what Esau does. He'll allow a little bit of the good stuff, but then he'll taint it with all kind of other madness to where you're not really getting the benefit.
Right.
That's why people can't get better. You know, and that's why it takes a lot longer to get better, because of the condition that these devils have subjected us to be in. You know? All right, so go ahead, bro.
You want to Habakkuk 1?
Yes. And then no matter if I finish this up here, and then we'll go to Habakkuk 1.
Okay, that verse. Was it verse 8? I think I was.
And that's what we're waiting for. Yahushua, verse 8.
Yep. All right, so it's verse 8. This is because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another.
And we're about to witness the greatest transition of wealth and power that the world has ever witnessed when Yahushua comes back to take his power on the throne. And this is why these individuals that's teaching, like Bishop Nathaniel, that Revelation 20 is talking about it's talking about the same time period. They bugged out because Yahushua's kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. And even Chad is bugged out about that. You know, so it is what it is.
Yeah, so the kingdom is going to be translated to Israel and then translated back.
That's stupid.
That don't make sense.
But the scriptures say that the kingdom shall not be set out, given out to other people.
Yeah. And, Daniel 7 and 8, you know, they shall take the kingdom and possess it forever, even forever.
Yeah.
So where's the clause in that? It should say possess it for a time until,
Right.
but nowhere in the scriptures does it back up that breakdown.
Right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get one quick one before you read that.
Yeah.
This is the book of Luke, right? 21. Check this out. Luke 21:24. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, meaning Israel during 70 AD, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, the heathen, unto the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So when is the fulfillment of them?
Right.
When Yahushua comes back, that's why it says he's King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So if you saying that 1,000 years in the future in Yahushua's kingdom, Esau is going to get back into power, that means what? They're going to bind Yahushua too?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That makes absolutely no sense.
And like Elder Pastor made a good point too, and I'm sure other brothers made the point that we're going to have spiritual power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but you're going to get what is it? Like the spiritual power we get for that 1,000 years is, we got to keep plugging back into a power pack. And Esau gonna catch us right when we're on the power, about to plug in. You know how you see the you ever see them robots that be in the grocery stores, right? And then they're they move around, and then when they start battery gets low, they self attach themselves to right, and then they sometimes they don't make it though. So is that gonna be the case? It's just gonna run out, and the power pack is like 2 inches away, and you just didn't get a chance. And then Esau, now let's get him.
And then what resources is Esau gonna have available to where he's gonna be able to take down Israel?
What, stones?
Yeah.
Farming utensils?
Right. Like, so what's going to be happening to allow them the opportunity to take Israel down? So that's just egregious. Yeah,
It's heinous.
It's heinous, man. You can't break that down because you know why? Because there's hope attached to the doctrine. So when you break the scriptures down like that, that literally diminishes hope.
Yeah.
Because now what we got to look for just 1,000 years, and then we got to go back down.
You catch hell again?
Like
Go through this shit again?
Right.
God damn, you motherfuckers ain't had enough of this shit.
It's just wicked.
Hey, well, like the scripture say, they trust in oppression.
Yep.
Jake love oppression. They you know what? They're comfortable under Esau.
Yeah, they are.
Only a demented mind that's comfortable under Esau would say some stupid shit like that.
That's
You know what I mean?
That's right.
I guess I'll read that. Habakkuk 1:4. It says, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. Okay, so the laws of the Heavenly Father is put on the back burner here in Babylon the Great, and they erect their own laws and legislations. You have the 3 branches of government: the executive, the judicial, and the legislative. And through these different branches, they orchestrate all kinds of deception and ill-advised tactics to pretty much destroy and oppress people, man. And let's not even, speak about the financial branch. We're oppressed financially, we're oppressed spiritually, physically. We got all these ailments, and we're breathing in toxic air. We're breathing, we're drinking toxic water. And then you don't even have the financial stability to revive yourself to the way you want to do it. So we're oppressed on every side. Constantly, man. But guess what? The Lord gives us the strength to continue to push. But you see what's happening over on the border. It's complete nonsense. That's why it's not a lot of media coverage.
Right.
They try to hide their sinister acts towards the children of Israel, but the Lord has us bringing it out to the forefront. There's people that are mourning behind being separated and sent back, to their countries, away from their family. You have brothers that have family members that got deported, man.
Right.
Close relatives that have been deported. That's wicked, man. But here it is, you over here trampling and oppressing everybody, but you tell everybody, oh, won't you go back? You hate America so much. Won't you go back? Well, won't you leave?
First of all, you don't belong nowhere but in Mount Seir, motherfucker.
Right, exactly.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And even Mount Seir didn't originally belong to them.
Exactly.
I think it was at the
Horites. So you through.
You out of there.
All the way.
You done, son.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord is just exposing you with the fire of His mouth, prophets. You ain't even really, like we was mentioning downstairs. You haven't even paid the bill yet.
Exactly.
You're just shocked at the amount you got to pay back.
How?
You know, like how are we gonna pay this back? You'll see. The Lord gonna set up a good payment plan for you.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be called continual labor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be called. You like to put continual strokes on people. It's gonna be continual strokes.
That's right.
There's gonna be no unemployment in the kingdom. You will not be getting a pink slip in the kingdom.
That's right.
You know,
or a paycheck.
or paycheck. You know, you'll be paid in slop.
That's right. That's right, Apostle.
You know, and the slop that you're gonna get in the kingdom is gonna be way better than the best food in this motherfucker. And that's why, you know, you get mad. You know, you get mad at that shit. Just the thought of that alone pisses you off. But these devils gotta, you know, stay healthy to work. You know, but you're gonna be fucked up because Jake be all fucked up, sick as hell. Still gotta go to work. You know, feel like you're gonna drop dead, but you still at work. You know, head spinning. All fucked up, got gout, got all kind of shit, and you still got to, you know.
You want me to read that again?
Yes, sir. Where you at?
Habakkuk 1.
Yeah. Let's get that.
Excuse me.
Matter of fact, start at 2.
Okay. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and 2. It says, "O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou shalt not save."
Right, because and thou will not save. Yeah, because the Lord is a just power. The Most High is not unjust; He's a just power. So Habakkuk was seeing this in the future. He was like, "Lord, you know, how long we gonna cry unto you of just injustices, and you not gonna do nothing about it? You know, awake, O Lord. You know, not that He's sleeping, but bring your judgments on these devils. Take them out. You know,
that's a righteous inquisition.
Yeah, you know, like He's not trying to push the Lord's hand, like the scriptures say in Songs of Solomon, "Wake not my love till He please." He's just inquiring of how long. When are you going to take these devils out?
Right.
You know, like how much more do these devils do they have to do?
Yeah.
But see, we understand that prophecy has to take place. You know, so the prophecy that we're waiting for the most is the MOTB.
That's it.
So much so that all of these different camps now that was staunchly against us now are coming around, pivoting. Yeah, they're pivoting, they're wiggling, you know, they're twisting, you know, so that when the time comes and it comes out, they could say we've always been talking about it, but y'all just wasn't paying attention.
See, that's wicked.
Yeah.
You know, now if you sincerely came around to that breakdown, then that's we love that. Yeah. But if you're doing it to save face and to, you know, like, yeah, well, we always say we never, then that's not right, man, because there are people that have literally listened to you tell them that it was otherwise, and now their salvation could be in jeopardy from following it. And then so all of a sudden say, "Oh no, we never told you to take it." That's wicked.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna be a watchman, you're supposed to do it sincerely to warn the people so that they won't hurt themselves, man, or get caught up.
Yep.
You know. So that right there, you know, if you guys sincerely come around to that understanding, then hey, call Allah Yahweh Shema Shah. But if you're doing it through deception, the Lord's still gonna get you.
Yep. And you know, we you know, we're happy that you know you do what you do, because at the end of the day, like the Apostle Paul said, whether in pretense or in sincerity, Yahweh Shai is preaching, and I therein do rejoice, because you got to have both sides of the spectrum. You got to have the righteous prophets. You got to have the wicked prophets. You got to have the truth sayers, and you have to have the deceivers. You know, you got it.
Yep. Continuing on, Habakkuk 1 and 3. Why dost thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Right.
I'm gonna read that in the NLT. Must I forever see these evil deeds? It says, why must I watch all this misery? It says, wherever I look, I see destruction and violence. I am surrounded by people who love to argue and fight. And you created that toxic environment of Jake. You cloned Tyrone. You cloned Keisha. You cloned Shirley. You know, as if that was possible to put that thing in a mold.
You
know?
That's crazy.
You know, it's you the one that created that toxic environment to where you see a ninja coming down the street, you cross another street.
Yeah.
To the other side of the street.
Yeah.
Like earlier today.
Earlier, you heard that a few times.
You know?
Yeah.
You see a goon, you don't even want to be around there because you don't know what they're going to, be up to, or you don't know if the Most High cause a truck or something to fly on the thing and smashes that,
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see what it says in the NIV. It says, why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? The Most High said he's of purer eyes and to behold iniquity.
Right.
It says, destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. So now I just want to quickly look up grievance. Why does thou, cause me to behold grievance? The word there is aimal, which is laborers. The Esau, toil, trouble, labor, right? The ones that are working are catching the hell. They catching the flack. And that goes with James, the first chapter. That the cries of them entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Here it is, you're grieving, you're oppressing people financially and all that, especially Jake, and there's nothing that could be done. Yeah. And that's why, Habakkuk, and we feel the same way today. Lord, when you going to take these devils out? You got the power to make him move forward and push that MOTB to the fullest. So,
and that's a sentiment, like you said, Apostle, that's a sentiment that all the prophets shared. How long, oh Lord, how long? Like I was mentioning, that's a righteous inquisition. They're not asking the Lord, how long, is it going to be before I get this new house? Or,
right.
Lord, when you going to give me this woman I've been trying to get? They sincerely asking the Lord, like, Lord, there's some crazy stuff going on down here.
Yeah.
In this world that I'm beholding, how long is it going to be, before you come and clean this up? Because, our flesh it gets tired of this shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's too negative down here.
Yeah.
We're called children of light, so we want to be around, just good energy, good vibrations, good food. Yeah. To constantly have to, behold iniquity, and to constantly have to behold our people being oppressed. It does a lot of psychological damage.
Yeah, and they create a lot of that stress.
Yeah.
Because of the environment that Esau provided for them.
Exactly. You go to a Jake neighborhood, you see a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, a Waffle House, a Checkers.
Wendy's.
Wendy's. The grocery stores is not, it don't have the best products in there.
No.
It's the environment breeds chaos.
We feel.
And guess what? The men of the Lord is right there beholding it. And when you desire after righteousness and you desire after peace, and you have to constantly dwell in chaos, you're going to make an inquisition.
Yeah.
That's a logical thing to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in making that inquisition, you're still patient and hopeful that we know that the Lord is going to eventually do it one day.
Oh yeah, no, He's going to do it. Just like just being in the flesh. The flesh gets run down, man. To the point of them fucking worn the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Brakateh Hawba Shemal Shai that daily loadeth us with benefits. He's the one that gives us the ability to continue on. Because in this toxic environment, who the fuck in their right mind would want to live like this? That the Job, when he was going through all that hell, he said, man, my soul chooses strangling rather than be alive,
Yeah. It's to the point where if it's gonna be like this, we just bring the destruction.
Yeah.
But just trying to survive and navigate in this crap it becomes just extremely vexing, man. But we have to feel those emotions to understand righteousness.
Because that's how the Lord feels, but much more intense. Let's finish up in Habakkuk 1 and 4, because you read the third verse.
Yeah, I read the third verse. I'm at verse 4. Habakkuk 1 and 4. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, Therefore, wrong judgment proceeded.
Right, now check out the NLT. The law has become paralyzed when it comes to us. All right, it says, and there is no justice in the courts.
None.
The wicked far outnumber the righteous, right? Because you have Esau, you have the nations, you have 2/3 of Israel here. We're being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You know, it says, so that justice has become perverted. You know, and this man is a man of lawlessness.
Yeah.
He's a lawless man.
Yeah.
Esau's not a moral man.
Yep.
He's a lawless man.
And it's nothing is just about,
Nope.
you know, his society. Like, here it is, we'll get held accountable for not stopping at a stop sign or running a red light, or, you know, things that hold no spiritual merit. But then Esau is just, you know, breaking all kind of spiritual things.
Yeah.
And not being punished. So that's why there's no justice, man.
Yeah.
There's no justice here, because the penalties that we face for small things,
yeah.
you know, it far outweighs what these devils should be faced with, man.
Right.
They're killing people. They're abducting children.
Yep.
You know, they're poisoning people purposefully, assassinating people.
Yep.
You know, invading these different countries and setting up puppet governments. They're committing adultery.
Oh yeah.
They're committing homosexuality, bestiality, child sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Satanism.
Yeah, it's going completely left.
And they just keep going. But we getting fucked up over a stop sign. Your license gets suspended.
Yeah.
You lose your job because you can't make a child support payment.
Yeah, you can't get to work.
You can't even get to work. That's not justice, man. You know?
So much so that they had to amend that to say, okay, you can only get a pass to go to work now. But before you couldn't do nothing. Now I looked up the word wrong judgment. Judgment is mashapat, right? But the word wrong is iqual. Now check this out. Iqual. To bend, twist, to bend out of shape, be distorted, be crooked. You know, that's your legislation. And matter of fact, before you get to that, let's go back here. But no, you get what you're gonna get.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go back here to the X account or whatever this post that was put up here, because I want to go to the bottom part, because you know it said we read the two excerpts of this case, right? It says the Supreme Court today gives Trump a license to engage in racial profiling, with Justice Kavanaugh writing in concurrence to expressly endorse ICE and Border Patrol targeting any Latinos they observe in Los Angeles speaking Spanish and then demanding their papers. That's racial profiling.
That's racial profiling.
They didn't say, okay, well, the ones that you think are immigrants, you know, anyone that speaks Spanish, right? Now check this out. When you come down to this one, it says breaking. A 6-3 Supreme Court allows the Trump administration to resume sweeping immigration raids in Los Angeles. And this is actually a court case. Supreme Court is the highest court of the land. Supreme Court of the United States. You know, Kristi Noem, Secretary, Department of Homeland Security, et al., which means in all, Pedro Vasquez Perdomo et al., on application for stay. And I'm not sure, you know, because I know the word stay, like you had a stay of execution, is if somebody's about to get put to death and they have a last minute appeal or whatever the case may be, they can issue a stay of execution, and they have to stop, you know, the execution until, you know, that appeal or whatever, you know, situation is ironed out before they can go on. You know, so that's what I thought that was. But this is saying that this particular case this law that was put in there, right, is allowing Trump to resume, the administration to resume sweeping immigration raids in Los Angeles. You see?
Yep.
So that's why we read here in Habakkuk 1 and 4, where it speaks about wrong judgment. The word wrong is iqual, means to bend, twist, to bend out of shape, be distorted, be crooked. You know?
They being punished for something that's not wicked. There's not a scripture that says thou shalt not move to another country. You know, they're being punished for something that the Lord doesn't view as evil. But the things that are viewed as evil, like adultery and homosexuality, people don't get punished for that.
People don't, yeah.
There's no laws established under the American Penal Code when you get penalized for sleeping with another man's woman. You hey, whatever then, you get your girl in check.
Yeah.
But then you want to move to another country and they punish you severely for that.
Yeah.
That's wrong judgment.
That's crazy.
That is terrible. When you really truly think about it.
Man.
That is extremely terrible.
Mhm.
That's why the scriptures speak call him the terrible, was it the cruel
Lord? Yeah.
Cruel Lord, yeah.
This dude is just terrible. That's terrible. That's an extreme character flaw. If you run in a society and you know that you have the power to keep families together, why would you break them up purposefully like this and literally target these people?
Because he's the devil.
Yeah.
And because prophecy has to be fulfilled for Jacob's trouble.
Yeah.
Now check this out, right? This was an application presented by Justin Kagan for a stay, meaning to stop, this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Justice Kavanaugh, right, concurring in the grant of the application for stay, I vote to grant the government's application for an interim stay pending appeal of the district court's injunction. So, because they have to allow the courts and everything to go through its proper channels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is the conclusion. The Immigration and Nationality Act authorizes immigration officers to interrogate any alien or person believed to be an alien as to his right to be or to remain in the United States. This is the where you can find it at. I can't think of the term right now. Immigration officers may briefly detain an individual for questioning if they have a reasonable suspicion based on specific articulate facts that the person being questioned is an alien illegally in the United States. So pretty much they gave it more teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically that's what they say it resumed, So let's go where you at?
I was reading Habakkuk 1 and 4, but I finished it though.
Okay, so where we at now? Did you say you have another precept?
Yeah, I have something because when you was bringing up, I believe that word I call.
Yeah.
For what word was that?
That was wrong.
Wrong, and that one of the definitions
was
that
corrupt.
was crooked.
Crooked, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to hit that scripture. It's Ecclesiastes 1 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And you read, that which is crooked cannot be made straight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when you read Habakkuk, I believe the second chapter, it said that his heart is not upright in him.
Right.
Because the Lord put a crooked spirit.
Yeah.
He designed this particular nation of Eve to be a crook.
Yeah.
They're not upright. See, when you read the scriptures refer to Israel as Jeshurun.
Yeah.
When you that word in the Hebrew is Yashawan, which means upright one.
Mm-hmm.
That's Israel. But when dealing with Esau, he's known as a churl.
Yep.
He's known as the evil. He's known as being pervert. He's known as being profane. There's not good qualities aligned with this man's nationality.
Right.
So that which is crooked cannot be made straight. So no matter what you do, you just try to fight alongside of him and join hand in hand. He's still a crooked spirit.
That's
His
right.
spirit is not upright in him.
He's a scumbag.
He's a he's a low life, man.
I got something to back you up here.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 7:13. Consider the work of the Most High, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked?
Woo.
The Most High created this devil to be the wicked. There's nothing that anyone could do to turn that around. He can't do shit. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray speaking lies as soon as they be born.
Yep.
Right? And then the other one, I thought you were gonna get this, Isaiah 27:1. And that day, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai with his sword and great strong sword shall punish Leviathan. This is dealing with Esau, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent.
Woo.
And he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. That's Esau.
Yep.
Remember, the Apostle John saw the great red dragon coming up out of the sea.
Yep.
All right, so now I'm going to go to that because I want to see if the same word for crooked is there for the word wrong.
Yep. And a quick footnote while you
Yes,
get that,
sir.
Apostle, is if you have a metal bar and that's straight and you bend that bar, it don't matter what you do. That bar is not going to go back to the original state.
Right.
So you can't
It's
make
warped.
it straight. It's warped. It's finished. You can never get it back to the original state, and that's Esau.
That's it.
Leviathan. Let me look up the word piercing first.
Oh, yeah, piercing. Yeah.
Barach. Fleeing, fugitive. Woo, a fugitive. Cain.
Damn.
Which shows you that the same spirit that was in Cain is in Esau
It's in
today.
Esau.
He's a goddamn fugitive, man.
Fugitive devil.
And that's why they're pushing that legislation so that they can stay in power.
Yeah.
And that's why they're trying to destroy Jake so that the Most High can choose them. The Lord never chose you, devil.
Was
He never chose you.
It went through houses of Shakatim forever.
Yeah.
They're thinking that they want to, he said pass different laws so they can continue to rule in wickedness, right?
Yeah. The Lord never chose you.
Right.
When you go back, even when the children were in the womb, it said that the elder shall serve the younger.
Yep.
So even before the children were even born, it was already deemed who was going to be the one that was going to receive the blessing.
Yeah, it was already set up in the spirit.
So it says a fugitive, right? So let's go back. Because I want to get another word here. Right. Damn, that's heavy. Piercing, fugitive. And then Leviathan, that crooked serpent. Nope, it's different. Well, it looks like the same word, but just elongated. Yeah, Iqual Thawam. Crooked. So it goes back to the word Iqual, which is crooked. Perverse. So it's not talking about an actual serpent in this case.
Right.
This would be synonymous with the serpent in Revelation.
Yeah.
That's what that would be synonymous with. But the serpent in Job, the 41st chapter, Leviathan is different.
That's
talking about the actual serpent, actual sea monster.
Yeah.
And Elder Pastor had briefly mentioned that in one of his lessons that he was doing. That's a total different. You got to know how to differentiate between the two. Sometimes when you read the scriptures are literal, and sometimes they're symbolic, and you have to have the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, to be able to discern and rightly divide the word of truth. To distinguish which is which. So let's see what else we got. Crooked, and then you had the word serpent. Let me see. The word serpent should go back to Nakash. Yep, Nakash. All right, so what else we got?
I got a quick one. Genesis 4:9. It says, "And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried out unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand." Verse 12 is the point. "When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth." And that's that's why that word crooked describes the character of the nation of Edom, because the Lord had already given him the judgment that he will be a fugitive or he will be a crook in the earth. And that's what he's done since he's been here.
Right.
He always dealt crookedly with people. He never dealt straight with nobody, man.
Because he's that crooked serpent.
Because he's that crooked serpent, that fugitive, man. That red nation, that nation that holds the mark, that mark of Cain, man. And the Lord is showing everyone that this devil, without a shadow of a doubt, is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
A complete fugitive, man. How when somebody did a crime and they it's a fugitive on the run.
Yeah.
You're not looked at as a good person. You look, they say, proceed with caution. If you see this person, wanted, dead or alive, proceed with caution, fugitive on the run. So if you see this person, you're supposed to beware.
Yeah.
That's what the Lord did when he put that mark on Cain.
Yep.
He gave the warning, like, look, I'm gonna give him a mark. And whoever bears his mark, he's the fugitive of the earth.
Yep.
But then guess what happened? He hid himself.
Yeah.
The serpent hid himself, and became the mystery of iniquity. So now people are trying to wake up to the fact that he's the devil, but some people are gonna wake up and it's gonna be too dang on late.
Yep.
I just wanted to bring that point up.
Yeah, con. All right, so Let's go. What else? You got anything?
Yeah, I got something real quick I can bring up on that point. This is Sirach, Ecclesiastes 33, and I get to the point verses 14 and 15.
You got it.
It says, "Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly."
That's it.
So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another.
That's it.
You got Esau. Esau is basically the villain in the movie, you know, and you got Jake, or really the elect, the believers of Yahweh Shem Yahushua are like the good guys, the heroes, and Esau is just playing his role, you know, being Satan, being diabolical, as you know, Jake says now, you know, currently he's playing his role of being Satan, man. And there's no way, there's nothing that you can do to get him out of that role. He's a perfect devil.
That's it.
You know, and as people say too, I think it's Proverbs the 16th chapter. The Lord made all things for himself, and the wicked for the day of evil. So yeah, the Lord created him for that purpose.
That's it. You were created to be destroyed.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so you know what? We could go to Ezekiel 37. Matter of fact, let me go back to Jeremiah 30 and 7. We're going to read that because, you know, it's going to be the time of Jacob's trouble, but the Lord's going to deliver the elect from that scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremiah 30 and 7, as for that day, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. And alas, that's like when you are in extreme like agony, like in the spirit. Now, alas, that great city Babylon, is destroyed. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. That goes hand in hand with Daniel 12 and 1. Said, it is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So go to Ezekiel 37, and if you brothers ain't got nothing else, we can close it out there.
Ezekiel 37.
15.
Okay. This is Ezekiel 37 and 15.
And this is why Esau is not worried about the other nations coming in here,
right?
But he's worried about the so-called Latinos coming up here. Now, we're supposed to be some bugged out individuals, right? What we're saying is bugged out, it's off.
Crazy.
It don't make no sense, right? It's a wrong interpretation. But then why are you focusing on the ones that do the spirit we're saying are Israelites?
So hone in on them.
Right. Why not have ICE get up everybody?
Exactly. No. Yep. I'll use your point. Yeah, why are you so honed in on the ones who we say the Israelites are?
Yeah.
But all the other nations, they just get to just roam around freely. You don't touch or bother them.
Yeah, man. What's up with that, E?
Sleazy E.
And why is it always constantly us?
Right.
Why is it not? Why don't they have their time when you fuck with them?
Yeah.
You're always fucking with us. In any kingdom, it's always the same people you keep messing with. Excuse my language. Yeah.
No, that's all right. You keep fucking with us.
Yeah, man. You keep messing, bothering us.
Yeah.
If we not those people, why you on us like that?
Exactly.
Right. But it just shows you because there's that enmity.
Genesis the 3rd chapter.
Yeah.
And that's how man, the Bible holds precedence over anything you people got going on.
Right.
Because no matter what you do, you're still going to be in line with what the scriptures say. Whether you believe or not. The scriptures hold power and weight over everything in the earth, man. Yeah, because the scriptures are spiritual. Mm-hmm. It's a living document. It comes and it goes. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where it's going. You can't grasp the understanding of the spiritual aspects of the scriptures. And that's why when you read it in the proper context in the Holy Spirit, you get oh shit. Yeah. But to most people, it's just like, what? I don't see that. You just made that up. Yep. Yeah, because you don't have the ears to hear. Yeah, and you haven't submitted yourself to what the word is saying. And you're not of the elect. And that's it. And that's really the bottom line. Yeah. And that's no cap. There's no kizzy. I'm gonna read it. What was it? Ezekiel 37:15. 37 and 15. Okay. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick
a plank.
and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions.
Right. Now, if the Christians were really inspired by the Most High, they would have been had a 12 tribe sign.
Mhm.
You know, they would have been had the breakdown of who the, you know, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, you know, you know, all the way down to Issachar were.
Yep, that's right.
You would have been out there, you know, preaching, the Lord gonna bring these people back together, blah, 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 you know?
Mhm.
What's up?
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
What you waiting for?
Yeah, what you doing?
What you waiting for?
You ain't got it.
Yeah.
You know? And Amalek, you know, they claim that they're Jewish. Where your brothers at?
Yeah, they're trying, because we've asked them that for years.
Yeah.
You know, but now all of a sudden, somebody showed some picture that they put together of 12 different devils.
Yeah.
You know, and that's supposed to be the 12 tribes.
It's like Benjamin, like the
Yeah. But no, they're doing that because we've been asking for years, where's your tribe?
Yeah,
Where's your chart at?
Yeah, and I did a video on years ago, and you had this one, you know, Amalekite, and he said that, well, you know, the other tribes, they crossed the Sambation River and they got lost into society. But guess what? There's no river called the Sambation River.
Yeah, they're saying bullshit river.
God,
that was a goddamn ass sandwich that Esau pulled out of his ass.
The Sambation River. Yeah, you know, the thing about it is, let's say you don't know where the other tribes are. You still supposed to know where the priests, where the Levites.
Yeah.
So you're not writing this on one stick. You know, it says Israel and his companions.
Right.
And real quick before we jump back, even you know the fight last night, the Canelo and Terrence Crawford, that was a spiritual fight. It was a good fight, but what happened at the end was more of a heavier vibration to me to see, you know, Judah and Israel come together and respect each other and hug each other. You know, and in front of the public eye.
Yeah.
Because those are the two people that's mainly oppressed in America. It's blacks and Hispanics and natives. So, you know, they wanted to create like this vibration of, you know, hatred but you know, it was like a respect thing. The Lord is putting the spirit of bringing Jake back together in the world.
Like the movie The Purge.
Oh yeah.
You know, like every purge, from the second purge all the way to the forever purge, it was like Judah, it was the Latin tribes, it was Gad coming together.
It was all coming together.
Working together against who?
The same enemy.
Esau.
Man.
Esau. Gad.
God, it says, for the children of Israel and his companions, it says, then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
Right, because the nation was split in two. The Lord said he broke, you know, bands, staff bands, you know, which was the binding factor that binded them together. That's why you've always had Ephraim envying Judah and Judah vexing Ephraim. And it goes on to this very day, you know. Saying bouquet through. Yeah, saying bullshit, brother.
Verse 17, and join them one to another.
Saying dookie. No, you got it.
Saying booty.
God damn. Go ahead.
It says, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand.
Right, and we're supposed to have that sign, 12 tribe sign, out there in the forefront. And as you see the prophecy speaking, this would be one of the things that prophecy would be speaking about. You know, so if Esau, these Amalekites, you know, or these Christians had the truth, one of the things they would have had in the forefront was the 12 tribe sign, which they don't have. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, it says, verse 18, and when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these?
Right. And we've actually witnessed that at the camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, people coming up with, what do you mean by this? You know, this is me right here. What, you know? And then some Jake come up and say, where the white man at? I said, man, go down the street, man.
White man in a restaurant right there. Go holler. Verse 19. Say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim.
And that's why in Revelation 7, you see Ephraim
Yep.
instead of Joseph,
Mhm.
because Joseph and Ephraim are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows,
The northern kingdom.
and will put them with him, even the stick of Judah,
Right, which are the southern kingdom.
and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand.
And they shall be one in mine hand. Because this is the Most High's 12 tribe sign.
Yes, yep.
You know? Because, you had them clowns at, the ICGJC going around harassing individuals that had the 12 tribe sign.
Yeah.
This high priest Ariah, no, this is the Most High sign.
That's right.
Right.
He just happened to give high priest Ariah the vision of who these people were, the tribes were. And he was able to write it down. But it's not his it's
Right.
the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Right, verse 20. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes.
Right. So it should be in your hand before their eyes.
Yep, they gotta see it.
They got to see it.
Yeah.
So where are the Christians' 12 tribe sign?
Right.
Where's Amalek's 12 tribe sign?
Exactly.
Where's anybody out there that claims to be the Israelite with their 12 tribe sign?
Right.
We got ours.
Yep.
The Lord gave it to us.
Yep.
So where's yours?
Where's your shit?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you brother got anything? Matter of fact, read one more verse.
Okay, verse 21. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen.
And that's what's happening through the gospel.
Yep.
Because that will, he scattered us among the heathens, and now he's gathering us from among the heathen.
Yep.
By his word. Go ahead.
It says, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land.
Go ahead.
And that's spiritual.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Esau is trying to send them, all over the world and deport them.
Yep.
The Lord, don't worry about it, because I'm gonna gather you and I'm gonna bring all y'all back to y'all homeland.
Yeah.
And y'all gonna be at rest. But the Lord's gonna start with the elect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
And through that process, that's when the whole nation is going to be refined and brought back into that new covenant.
Right.
And the Lord is going to dwell with us and be with us forever.
Yeah.
So Esau, right now, you got the power to send, Jake to El Salvador and Panama, to Panama, and all throughout South America, Venezuela. But eventually the Lord gonna stop your dang old hand.
Yeah.
And he gonna bring the judgment on you, and he gonna go and get his people and bring them back to their land.
While he is eating.
Yeah,
Why is he?
Yeah. You gonna be in straits, my man.
Finished.
The world is sitting back, waiting on your day, to punch your ticket, man.
Even your own people waiting for your ass to go down.
They're tired.
Yeah.
Everybody is tired and frustrated of the powers that be.
You goddamn devil. Go ahead. Verse 22.
Verse 22. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
Yeah, because we were split in two. Go ahead.
And one king shall be king to them all.
King David.
And they shall be no more two nations.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so we won't have to, try to figure out a bond between blacks and Dominicans.
Right.
They're not going to be from a different culture and have this culture. This is Dominican culture. Or this is Puerto Rican culture.
Yeah.
This is Mexican culture. This is Haitian culture.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
It's going to be one nation.
One nation.
Yeah.
One vibe.
Like right now, you have the Simeonites deporting, a lot of Levites from Dominican Republic back to Haiti. And he said, and they were grabbing, Issachar. I'm sorry, Issachar. I'm bugged out. They were grabbing Levite up, right? And then black as hell. Black as a dude they grabbing, Moreno. But he calling the dude a Moreno, a black.
Damn.
You the same people.
That's crazy.
Same goddamn color. But then you saying calling him black. And me no black, papi.
Yep. That's
crazy. Yeah, I'm black, but you black like this.
And look exactly the same.
And the only difference is language, a language barrier.
Yeah.
But really, to be honest, like the apostle said, we're all one. We all come out of Jacob.
That's it.
We all come out of Jacob, man.
Wake up, Jacob.
Let's go.
All right, so you got anything else? Any finishing thoughts? All right, so with that, we pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time we say, Shalom. Hour 20 minutes.
Okay.
The Water Brothers for
Oh yeah.
sitting down
With
with I, because I wanted to do all kind of stuff, but